Black Scout Survival went too far by saying that Joe Biden went too far. He didn't really go too far. I just like having a provocative title, and I like talking about other people that I'm watching or listening to that talk about the things that I want to talk about because it might get me viewers or whatever. So, check out my shit. My thing with the whole Joe Biden thing is basically, did he go too far? No, he's just showing his hand. He, what they are doing is they think Trump did X, Y, and Z. Did he do that stuff? Probably not, based on the preponderance of evidence. But they believe that shit. Like, they believe that shit the way that, like, I believe that the sun controls global warming and that, I don't know, cats are cool. They believe that shit. It's just a part of who they are. And because of that, they are operating in a certain world that doesn't really exist where you can get away with everything. And they can while they're in charge. But the people that are about to be in charge are watching this shit. Good luck. Like, unless the Democrats' real plan is to end democracy somehow, they are about to be out of office. The mass of the public does not want this. I can guarantee you that. At this point, the mass of the public must be completely and utterly uninformed, and they are relying on media blackout. And that's only going to hold them for so long. They're pushing civil war buttons and not expecting anything to happen. And I think what's happening right now is the right is a bunch of cool, collected motherfuckers that are like I've been describing in my podcast for forever now, are, a jaguar sitting there smoking a pipe, watching this shit going down. You can Google the rabbit smoking his pipe, the jaguar smoking his pipe, and the tiger smoking her pipe to find podcasts on those subjects. But in those podcasts, basically, I was saying that you should be a warrior who can think. Like, does a rabbit live longer than a panther? In the metaphor of that, yes, because the rabbit thinks and the jaguar doesn't. My whole argument of that series was basically, so who lives longest? Is it the rabbit smoking his pipe? Is it the jaguar not smoking his pipe? Is it the jaguar smoking his pipe? What does that mean? Well, that means that, like, you are both in one. You are both the apex alpha predator in that you have capabilities and can do things and have a plan. That's who lives the longest. And that's, my point in this is now such people are amongst those of us who are sitting here with rifles knowing what the Constitution says. And we're all watching this shit going, okay, well, we'll see how the election goes. I think that's really it. There's a preponderance of us that right now are going, if they win this next election by a large margin after what they've done, then there's no way that our voting counts in reality. Either there's about to be a red wave probably this year, or at least there's going to be a shakeup. It's not going to be a red wave necessarily. Like, that's the thing people don't see up there in Alaska. Sarah Palin lost in Alaska. Um, does that matter? No. Why? That was a vote against the system. Okay, I don't know who the Democrat is or how she won or whatever, but that was a you gave us a choice of fucking Sarah Palin that nobody fucking really likes, or some Democrat bitch that looks like a Native American local girl, whatever. I don't know her politics, but my bet is she's probably pretty conservative for a Democrat if she just won in Alaska. This is what the news isn't telling you. Okay, we're winning. That's what that thing in Alaska just said. Sarah Palin isn't on your fucking side. Sarah Palin ran with John McCain. John McCain is a war criminal in my mind. Many other things. John McCain is an active participant in the American empire in many, many ways. And then, in addition to that, my grandfather was an F 4 pilot in Vietnam. He hated John McCain. He hated John McCain because John McCain managed to stay alive in a place where the only way you stayed alive longer than about 6 or 7 days was doing horrible shit to other Americans, giving up information, killing people, that kind of shit. That's who John McCain was. John McCain, when push comes to shove, an animal. And my grandfather was in one of those places for about 6 or 7 days before fucking PJs pulled him out. He would know. Was really late in the war. They were doing something. I don't remember. They got shot down, and the place that he ended up getting held for about half a week to a week or so was some shithole on the border of fucking Cambodia and Vietnam, Laos and Vietnam. I don't remember. He had many stories about that place, though, and as a result, had nothing good to say about John McCain. He saw who John McCain was. John McCain stayed alive in one of those fucking camps, the Hanoi pit of fucking hell, for years and years and years. And if my grandfather had been in Hanoi, he would have lasted, he said, about maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And he was a tough son of a bitch. But that's, he would have died at that point. If you didn't give them what they wanted, they just let you die. So the fact that he spent years there means that he's probably a real piece of shit. And maybe you're like, oh, well, he did what he had to do to survive. No, I don't think you understand. He killed his fellow servicemen, basically, both probably literally and figuratively by giving up information. They were pumping my grandfather for information multiple times a day, and all he had to do to make it stop and get food was to give up the shit he fucking knew. And he was planning on dying because that's who my grandfather was. That's not who John McCain is. And my point is, John McCain shouldn't have been fucking ever leading you. My grandfather really should have been, but he's too much of a fucking drunk to ever fucking want to. And now I'm watching the fruit of what happens when lesser men lead you. I hope they get what they're asking for. I really do. What the Democratic Party did tonight with their address was throw down the gauntlet saying that they're going to form a Nazi state. I think it's dying time. That's what I think. I think if they're going to have a one-party state, fuck them. Allah, inshallah, jihad. If you speak Arabic, you know what I just fucking said. It's what I fucking mean, too. The thing most people don't get about me is that I'm entirely overly educated. Not in a useful kind of way. I think we should take a page out of our Middle Eastern brethren's book. These people think that rifles can't hurt them. I think we should form compounds in the mountains and keep to ourselves. And whenever the government comes around, well, that's what the rifles are for. I think really there are vast stretches of Utah and Colorado, maybe Wyoming, Montana. It would be fun. Go watch Last of the Dogmen and think about holing up someplace like where they were. Like, I'm hoping that someone that listens to this ends up fucking fighting these people. I really don't think it's going to happen in my generation. That's half of why I'm recording these. If it does happen now, then honestly, I'm gonna fucking die probably. I think a lot of us are gonna fucking die. That's my attitude about most of war, though. It's kind of what makes me dangerous in a lot of ways. If you really want to be dangerous in combat, have the attitude that we're all already dead, you're already dead, and none of this matters. You do really unpredictable shit. It'll also get you killed as fuck, so it depends really where you are and when you are, right? Like, that is an attitude for, like, trench warfare. It's not an attitude for, like, I don't know, Serbia. I want a kukri. Like, I want a kukri mainly because, like, I have several swords and blades now, and there's, like, a couple of distinct holes missing in my blade lineup. And if I got a couple various sizes of kukris, it would just fill that in perfectly. I really can't believe the Democrats want to go this bad. Like, I think they can win a civil war. I think that's the reality we're facing here. Is they live in a reality where Donald Trump already has done all of this shit, and now they're doing it too. And what are you going to do? You're going to start a war about it? What are you going to do? You're going to fight F-15s with AR-15s? This is how he thinks. That's how they think. And they don't even understand that if you don't have food and cheap gasoline in the United States, the people are going to storm the Citadel and burn you. And that's not, a threat or anything. That's reality. That's like Rome. You can't piss off the mob. Like, I don't think they understand exactly what they're trying to be and who they're trying to be and how bad they're going to have to be to get there. And they don't have the heart for it. It's my prediction. And as a prediction, I think eventually the Republicans get back into power. And I think whenever that happens, oh, holy hell. It's going to be the end of the world live on MSNBC. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Attention, all hands on deck. Attention, all hands on deck. There has been 18 torpedoes slammed into Titanic's side, and now she's sinking. And now back to you, Stu. Well, thank you for that chilling and horrifying picture of life on board the Titanic. Next. Bears, friend or foe? Usually bears are not friends. Sometimes they're really full of salmon and just want their bellies scratched. You know, you have to know your bears. Some bears just want dick. Totally different kind of bears. I really do think that's part of it, though, is they live in a reality where, like, they have the U.S. military, which they have now gayed up to the point where, like, every foreign military in the world doesn't fear us now. Just FYI, that's what happened. Our military went woke and went vaxxed, lost all of its pipe hitters. Then we had Afghanistan fall as a result. We had the Ukraine get invaded as a result of bad foreign policy mixed with this. And we're about to see Taiwan get invaded as a third step in the fucking, like, chain of dominoes. And we're not going to be able to do anything about that because our military is going to be entirely too busy shooting us here at home, which is just grand. But, you know, it's a good thing that it's going to be like some limp dick fags with fucking SIG rifles that are made to be laser beams out to 800 yards and have no defense for close range. I mean, those will be handy after we take them from them. Thanks for the new SIG rifles. This is really like what's going to happen, and they don't give a flying fuck. They really are going to put some fucking 17 and 18-year-old kids out there in the field with those fucking SIG rifles and expect them to win matching us. When us is America. They aren't going to win that. Like, I hate to point out the obvious. This is like some common sense shit that they lost a long time ago. They really think that, like, they can just continue fucking with people's lives and people's freedom and, like, it's all going to stay copacetic. They're committing crimes, large ones. I have seen and heard Joe Biden commit crimes that you could hang him for. We could talk about what those are, but I'm sure the Hunter Biden laptop isn't a viable topic of conversation thanks to the FBI saying it was Russian collusion. Like, at this point, if this election does not bring about a change in at least the House of Representatives that will bring our voices to be fucking heard in this, I think we're going to war. I think these Democratic fucks don't think that anyone will fucking do it. Whoever does it is going to go all the way with it. When I say they're going to go all the way with it, I mean, like, they're going to be riding around fucking, you know, New York and Los Angeles in tanks with human heads mounted to them of whoever their enemy is. I'm guessing at this point it's going to be a bunch of, like, communists backed by George Soros that are fucking, I don't know, Antifa and Black Lives Matter. That's who I think is going to take over the world based on what I'm seeing. However, I think that's mostly a bunch of fucking smokescreen. And the thing that these people are drumming up hardcore, and the whole point of everything George Soros has ever done, the whole point of anything the left has ever done, is to bring about a rebirth of the Nazi Party in America. Look at their fucking values. They're progressive, liberal socialists. all they're missing is national pride. And as soon as they have a country they can be proud of, one without Texicans in it, then maybe they'll be happy. I really should entitle this Black Scout Survival Didn't Go Far Enough. I'm going to end it there. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see you later.